Sometimes we get confused on what to actually do after you get heartbroken or you are going through a heartbreak currently. And I want y'all to know that anything I tell y'all or advice that I give y'all, it may or may not work. Everybody's life is different, and that's something that you're going to have to understand with any advice anybody gives y'all or just anything in general. Everybody's life is different, but I want y'all to understand to be able to heal during a heartbreak. You first have to ask yourself, why does the heartbreak hurt so much? Why are you in so much pain than you were after? Why are you in so much pain because of that person is not in your life no more, or has currently disrespected you in a way, or you're currently just going through a heartbreak while being in a relationship? And first, you have to ask yourself, why are you so heartbroken? Why? What is the reason? And maybe the reason may be because you're not used to being alone, or maybe the reason is you're just so attached to that person, you just feel like you don't know life without them. And one thing that I've seen is that you cannot rely and put your all, and I'm talking about happiness, I'm talking about your feeling of being wanted in life. You can't put all of that onto somebody else. You have to already be happy with yourself and happy with being alone before you get into a relationship. I feel like you should first understand that you have a risk of being alone, being in a relationship. And that's something that people don't really realize, and that's one reason why they get so heartbroken. Kadrian, that's not answering the question. Well, this is me helping y'all understand what y'all need to know before entering a relationship, before trying to make that person your main source of happiness or the reason why you're still living. Because eventually, you will get to that point where you don't know life without them. Yeah, that's probably the best feeling in the world, but you can't rely on that person to stay in your life forever. One day they might decide that they want to up and leave. So that's when you got to understand, this person cannot be my main source of happiness. I need to be happy with myself before anything. Okay, let's move on to when you're heartbroken during the process. You've answered the question why you are heartbroken, because you don't feel like you can continue life without this person. And now you're stuck at, what do I do? First, what I would do if I was in that situation, I would first realize, okay, boom, they're not in my life no more. And I made the decision to get in a relationship knowing I might, or not knowing, that I will be alone one day. It's a risk. It's not always a guarantee that you'll be alone after a relationship, but it's a risk. But this is what I would do. First, I really sit and understand why I got heartbroken. I've answered that. And now I'm trying to focus on myself. Oh, Kadrian, everybody always says just to focus on yourself, focus on your happiness, focus on what you got to do. Everybody always says that. But what you don't understand, that's very important to what your process of healing is. You need to really focus on yourself and understand that if you're not happy with yourself before you get into a relationship, or if you get into any new thing in your life, you're not going to be as happy. So understand that you need to work on yourself, focus on yourself, find out what makes you happy, find what makes you want to continue life, find what wakes you up every morning and just fills you up with joy. Find those things and stick to them, and you will become more happy. And don't just rush into another relationship. Don't rush into another relationship and try to force your hurt and your past and everything onto somebody else, because that is completely not fair to the person that you're doing that to. So understand that it's going to be a process. It's going to take a while. It may take a long time for you to heal, but you got to realize that things will change over time, and you need to find what makes you happy other than being with that person before you get in a relationship. That's simple as that. There's no trick to it. There's no specified routine that you need to do. No. Have some other source of happiness than having that person as your happiness before you get into a relationship, because that can be a risk. So you got to understand that the healing process is crucial, because without you knowing that you have a risk of being alone before you get into a relationship, it's so difficult. It's difficult. But you got to understand that you have to find some other source of happiness, because there is something out there in the world that will make you happy, that will make you feel good, that will give you that dopamine hit without it being another person. So that's step one. You need to find something else that will just make you happy, bro. Like, people always try to make it so complicated when you're going through a heartbreak or when you're dwelling. And you have to understand, if that person was meant for you, if that person really wanted you, they'll stay with you. I mean, that may be a good reason why you're going through that heartbreak. There may be a good reason. There may be a positive reason. Try to take something positive out of this heartbreak instead of it always being so negative. Instead of it just being so hurtful on your life and controlling how you think about things and how you go about things and the way you just think in general. So really take it in and really understand that there could be a good reason why you're going through this heartbreak, and just why you getting so hurt, bro. There's a good reason why you feel this hurt. You just gotta find it. You have to find it. You can't listen to other people watch these videos. You watch my video, but I'm giving you that real, bro. You gotta find your own type of path to find happiness, to find some other source of happiness. You gotta get through it. You gotta get through it on your own, because this is your life. This is your choices. These are the things that you're gonna make to dictate your lifestyle. So you gotta understand, you gotta find something other than that relationship that can make you happy. Find out what makes you happy, because clearly that person was not meant for you. Clearly that person did not want a long-term relationship with you. They wanted short-term. Try to forget about that person, bro, and just work on yourself. Work on your self-happiness, bro. Work on your self-happiness, because that's why we get so heartbroken, because we don't have self-happiness before we get into a relationship with somebody. So we rely on them to be our happiness, our main source of happiness, and that's where we mess up, and that's why we get so hurt. So understand, find your source of happiness. Find some other resource that you could rely on, because you can't rely on everybody. You cannot rely on everybody for happiness. That's just simple. You can't rely on anybody for happiness but yourself. That's it. So when you going through that heartbreak, bro, realize that they just wasn't meant for you. Simple. And take that as motivation. Use that as motivation to succeed. Use that as motivation to start becoming successful. Start working on yourself. Start working on your goals. Use that as fuel to motivate you to get that bag and to get what you dreamed of, and just lock in. Use that as motivation and find your own lane of happiness, bro. Simple. Find your own lane. It may not, bro. I'm just on here talking, saying it simple, because people try to overthink it. People really be overthinking the heartbreak phase. I use it as fuel, but everybody different. That's why I'm saying that, because I want to give y'all the real. Everybody's different. Everybody gonna use different ways to cope. Find your way to cope through that heartbreak and through that pain that you're going through. Find your way to cope. Yeah, Kadrian, you can't just say it like that. It's not that simple. Yeah, it's not that simple. I had to find my way, though. I had to find my way. It may sound simple. I had to find my way on my own. So that's why you gotta find your way to cope with this dwelling in this pain that you're dealing with, because only you know what can make you happy for real, and only you know what is best for you. And just in general, really think back at that relationship. Was it really the best thing for you? Was it really the best person in the world? Could you get treated the same, or could you get treated better by somebody else? Really think back at it and really look at it and be like, was this person really meant for me? Was this person really the person that they was in the beginning of the relationship, or in the beginning of when you first met them? Are they still the same? Do they still give out the same qualities? Are they still the same person? And that's it. Don't make it so complicated on yourself to try to heal from something that was probably building up and hurting you internally without you realizing, because you didn't have no self-happiness first. So next relationship you get in, understand that you need to know that there's a risk of you being alone. There's a risk. You took that risk of being alone, and now you so hurt and you don't know what to do. Now it's time that you gotta grind, find some happiness for yourself, and really lock in. I could be saying all this, and you can go right after this video and not do nothing. But it's on you. It's on you to dictate how you want to go about this heartbreak and how you want to change your life around. Use this to change your life around. Use that heartbreak to fuel you to do better. I love every single one of y'all. I love every single one of y'all. Y'all know that. Y'all know that. I love every single one of y'all. I will see y'all on the next video.